Unbelievable. In a world flooded with earbuds claiming to be revolutionary, the Sony WF-1000XM5 hit the scene like a sonic powerhouse. But 2 years later, are they relics or still dominating the game? All right, let's dive right in. I've been rocking the Sony WF-1000XM5 for a couple of weeks now, blasting through my daily commutes, workouts, and late-night playlist sessions. And man, they've got me rethinking what flagship really means in 2025. You know how it is. Tech moves fast, and with rumors swirling about potential XM6 drop before year's end, I had to ask myself, are these forgotten gems or still the in-ear titans they were hyped to be? If you're like me, always chasing that perfect blend of comfort, killer audio, and smart features, stick around because we're breaking it all down. Have you tried these yet? Drop a comment if you have. I'd love to hear your take. First off, design and colors. These bad boys sport a stemless bud design that's sleek and minimalist. No dangling stems like on some AirPods knockoffs. They're about 20% smaller than the old XM4S, which is a huge win for comfort. Remember when I reviewed the XM4S a few years back? They felt like they were jammed in, causing this annoying itch after an hour. Not these. The XM5S sits snug without the fatigue, thanks to that size tweak. Sony sticks with memory foam tips. For sizes included, even an extra small for us with tinier ears. I gotta admit, at first, they feel a bit invasive, like they're expanding right in your canal. But once you're used to it, game changer for bass and isolation. If foam's not your vibe, swap M for silicone aftermarkets. No biggie. Colors-wise, you've got black, platinum silver, and this fresh smoky pink that's subtly stylish without screaming for attention. I'm testing the black ones, and they look clean, almost invisible in your ears. The case is a standout too, compact, with a flat bottom so it stands upright like a little pill on your desk. It's smaller than most out there, maybe only beaten by Google's egg-shaped Pixel Buds Pro 2 case. Super pocket-friendly. But yeah, easy misplace if you're scatterbrained like me. One gripe, touch controls. Tapping for playback is fine, but volume? You gotta rapid tap the bud, which feels like you're pounding it deeper into your skull. Why no swipes, Sony? Google's got that on their stemless buds, and it's way less awkward. Rhetorical question. Wouldn't a simple swipe make these perfect? Moving to audio quality. Oh boy, this is where they shine. Out of the box. The sound is punchy and balanced, with an 8.4mm dynamic driver delivering tight. Control bass that doesn't overwhelm unless you're a total bass head. I'm not, but I dig how musical it feels. Mids are clear, not mushy, and the highs have this sweet sizzle without piercing your eardrums. Compared to the XM4S, the soundstage is wider, more airy, like the music's breathing around you instead of trapped in your head. I've been streaming everything from hip-hop to indie rock on my Android phone, and it just pops. The Sony Headphones app is your best friend here for customization. You've got a 5-band EQ, 16K, 6.3K, 2.5K, 1K, and 400 Hz, plus a clear bass slider for low-end tweaks. But my favorite? Your equalizer feature. It plays your tunes and throws 5 unnamed presets at you. No curves, no labels, just listen and pick what vibes best. Then fine-tune from there. I went through it with a playlist of old favorites and ended up with a custom profile that made everything warmer and more dynamic. It's intuitive, forces you to trust your ears. Even if you crank the sliders wildly, these don't distort, they just adapt. Solid stuff. And let's talk DSC Extreme, Sony's upscaling tech. It promises to polish low bitrate tracks, making them crisper. I toggled it on and off with some Apple Music streams. Maybe a slight bass bump and extra punch, but honestly, could be placebo. If you got ancient 128 kbps MP3s lurking, it might shine more. Worth trying, but not a must-have for everyone. Now, 360 Reality Audio. Sony's take on spatial audio. They were pioneers here, dropping it back in 2019, way before it blew up. It's object-based, treating each sound like a separate element in a virtual space, so you feel immersed like you're on stage with a band. Mind-blowing when it works, right? But here's the catch. You need specially mastered tracks from services like Amazon Music, Tidal, or Nugs.net. No auto-spatializing your whole library like Apple's version. I fired up a few compatible songs, and yeah, it's cool for that different experience. But is it better than good old stereo? Not always. Most music's mastered for 2 channels, and it slaps just fine. If you're deep in those platforms, it's a perk. Otherwise, it might gather dust. Ever tried spatial audio and felt mad about it? Same boat sometimes. Noise cancellation? Elite level.
The train now approaching platform 1 is...
Those memory foam tips alone block a ton passively. Pop them in with music, ANC off, and the world's already muted. Crank ANC, and it's next level for commuters or noisy spots. Sony's adaptive mode auto-adjusts based on your surroundings and activity, which is smart, but I turn it off after flip to transparency when I didn't want it. Dual processors and feedback mics crush low to high frequencies. Planes chatter traffic? Gone. In a bustling cafe test. I barely heard the espresso machine. If you're in a loud office or traveling, these are lifesavers. Better than most rivals? Absolutely, though Bose is still nipping at their heels. Connectivity is seamless. Fast pair on Android makes setup a breeze. I paired via the app for all the extras, and it was instant. They handle LDAC for high-res audio on Android, AAC for iOS, and Bluetooth multipoint for 2 devices at once, like your phone and laptop. No hiccup switching. Watch the video on my computer. Call came in on phone. Boom. It handled it. Apple users, you're stuck with manual Bluetooth scanning, but it works. They embrace LC3 for calls too. Crisper voice over the old SBC standard. Calls sounded clear, no complaint from the other end. Battery life holds up decently for their size. Buds alone, up to 8 hours on LDAC with ANC off. Drops to 5 with it on. Switch to AAC, 12 hours max off. 8 on. DSC drains about 10% more, so toggle wisely if you're out all day. Case at 16 hours, not the longest, but quick charges help. I got through a full workday plus gym without recharging. No sweat. All right, value in 2025. This is where it gets real. These launched at $330, but now, with the market evolving and XM6 whispers, prices have dipped. Based on current data, new ones are going for around $215. Check Sony's site or Amazon for deals like that $115 off original, used or refurbished. Even better, you can snag them on eBay or sites like Swappa for about $130, sometimes as low as $100 in good condition. That's a steal compared to new, especially if you're budget conscious but want premium vibes. At $215 new versus $130 used, it highlights how affordable they become. Why pay full freight when pre-owned ones perform like champs? In a saturated market with solid $130 options like OnePlus Buds 4 or nothing ear, the XM5 has justified the extra with that premium feel, deep customization, and top-tier ANC. But if you're pinching pennies, those cheaper ones sound pretty good without the frills. So, wrapping up, are the Sony WF-1000XM5 still a good buy in 2025, or are there better options? Heck yes. They're worth it if you crave that extra clarity, comfort upgrades, and Sony's ecosystem perks. They're not outdated. They're refined titans holding their ground. But if spatial audio isn't your jam, or you don't need ultimate ANC, fresher rivals like the Pixel Buds Pro 2 might edge them out for swipe controls and integration. Me? I grab M on sale, especially used for that affordability boost. What do you think? Still Titans or time to move on? Hit like if this helped. Subscribe for more honest tech chats. And let me know in the comments. XM5S or something newer? Catch you next time.